Hi and welcome to another I Draw You Sims video, and in today's video at the beginning I first wanted to show you a little bit more of how I usually sketch these things before I start to paint, which is the process that you usually see. And I start with a very basic sketch of the basic proportions of the way that the head is turned, and then I go and refine all of that a little bit and put in more details into the sketch and do some very rough shading as a reference for the later very rough shading. And then I go ahead and outline the different portions of that sim or of that drawing as cleanly as possible, so that I can later just go and select that area and fill it with a solid color and then work out the detail from there. And of course, because this is a digital drawing, I could just go ahead and take the reference and trace the outlines. But I also want to make progress in my drawing skills with this, and also train my eye for proportions. And this only works if I have the reference next to it and then try to work out the proportions myself from there. And the reason why I always cut that process out is because I take a lot of time with that and with the proportions, because that is the base that the whole drawing is based on. And if that is wrong, the drawing is going to look wrong. And so I take a lot of time for the proportions, and I always try 10, 20, sometimes 30 different times until I get it right. And I have something where I can say it looks good, it looks very, very similar. And of course I can always lay the reference directly underneath it and look if I got it right or if I didn't. And so I kind of train myself to get better at referencing proportions and just measuring them with my eye. But enough of the sketching process. Now onto this sim. This sim is called Isilia von Knott and is made by OneRayK on Twitter. And they also have a small YouTube channel with 2 videos on it, which is called OneZim. And I link both the Twitter and the YouTube in the description. And they were actually the first person to answer to my tweet with a picture and a small description, so I was very thankful for that. And the description said, "Her name is Isilia von Knott. She is a very nurturing and motherly woman with a love of art, knitting, and tea leaf reading. She also teaches grade school classes." That description was kind of short, but I thought it really told a lot about her, and I could really imagine her being a teacher and being this motherly figure with a big heart and lots of empathy and that really loves kids. And also I thought it was such an interesting little twist that she also has this spirituality with the tea leaf reading, and that she's very interested in that, because that just makes her personality a little bit more interesting than it already was. And also I just always love crafty and creative sims, which she is too. And now back to the drawing, or a little bit of story around the drawing, because I had actually been working on this drawing for about a week when I came back from a little trip to my family and wanted to start working on it again and further. And then I tried to open the file and somehow it was corrupted. Apparently I couldn't open it anymore. I just couldn't get it to work, which was kind of sad. But then yesterday I did draw like crazy. I basically made the progress of a week in one day, and I really wanted to pay a lot of attention to detail with the skin and all of the facial details and the eyes, and just in general I didn't want it to be less quality than my other I Draw You Sims. just because I had less time. So I was really like drawing like a madman or a mad woman, and wanted to make it look as good as possible so that Von Ray would also have something to be like happy with, and that I really hope they like it in the end, because it's not their fault that the file was corrupted, and I really wanted them to have a drawing of their Sims that they are happy with and that they like, and yeah, so I tried my best, and I have to say I maybe actually like this second version of the drawing that you see right now better, which is like very nice to know. And yeah, my hands are still hurting from drawing so much yesterday, but I really like the result, and I was basically able to learn from the first try to draw her, which is like always great. And so maybe it's better that it happened that way, and it was supposed to happen that way. And at the moment you see me draw her hair, and I tried to stay very close to the hair that she has, but I also took some liberties, because I think especially with the more clay hair, the way that the hair strands like move and their flow isn't always the most natural, and I think they wouldn't always look good in a drawing that way, because they don't behave like hair normally behaves. And so of some of the like little hair strands, I changed the flow of them a little bit so they feel more natural, or like how they basically came to me while drawing. It sounds like such artist talk, but I hope you know what I mean. And I hope that's okay, because I really like how the hair came out in the end. I think it really still looks kind of Max's match. The hair came out. I wanted it to look a little bit more realistic in the drawing, but I'm still very happy with it. But I think the thing that I am the most happy with in this drawing is actually her top, and the way the fabric works, and all of the folds and the shadows in the top. I was very excited about, but you'll see that in a second. And I don't know if it's just me, but for me her dress kind of reminded me of a dirndl dress like you would wear to Oktoberfest, which I thought was very fun. But also maybe I'm mistaking it, and it's just like a kind of school uniform, or just some sort of traditional dress that she likes to wear when she goes teaching or just in her free time. But yeah, I really like that this was such a complex piece of clothing with so many folds and details, and yeah, it was very fun to draw. It took long. Usually I spent most of the time on the face and the hair, and then the clothing just takes like half an hour, but this time it was just like 1 or 2 hours for the clothing alone. But it was very fun to do. I loved the texture, and yeah, just thinking about the way the fabric moves a little bit. And also this time something very special happened, because this is the first time in an I Draw You Sims video that I remembered to record during the drawing of both of the arms. I don't know what it was with the arms that didn't work in the episodes before this, because I always forgot to remember at least one of the arms, but this time I get both of them in here. And now that we are almost done with the video and with the drawing, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked and enjoyed this video, and if you would consider subscribing, you would make me super duper happy. I hope we'll see each other again.